It's the end of June, so this is around the time we look back at the season that's just passed. Time sure does fly, doesn't it? The start of the season felt just like yesterday, but we're already staring at the incoming summer season. How about a trip down memory lane then? Yes, this season's been an action-packed one, and I'd like to highlight some of the most amazing battles that we've been blessed with. However, before we start, I'd like to invite you to hit that subscribe button up there. There are still a sizable portion of viewers that haven't subscribed, so I'd like to encourage you to sub so that you'll be able to get updates more easily the next time I upload. Now, with that out of the way, let's get started on our list. Shiki vs Jin opens up our list at number 10.
Okay.
Coming into this season, I'm sure everyone had varying opinions on Eden Zero. Some were lukewarm to it, while others gladly welcomed another battle shonen to the ever-growing family. Personally, I like the idea of the sci-fi theme of the series, and I more or less enjoyed the series from the get-go. Whatever your opinions are, I think we have to give credit where it's due for the cool fights that we got as early as a season in. Understandably, Shiki vs Jin's probably not on anyone's radar. That gives me even more reason to include this fun little scuffle on the list. It's in fights like this that you see Mashima's creativity on display, and despite being a departure from his previous work in terms of setting, Eden Zero still gives us some hints of fairy tale and rave at their best. It's early for the hype to match anything from those two, but I love how the technological and modern aspects of the show are incorporated in this battle. It's great to see that hero Mashima still has it in him. I admit at first I was unsure of what to expect of Eden Zero adaptation, but so far it's been pretty lit. Big props to the anime team for making the most out of the source material and giving us this fight too. When the season started, I found myself very excited for Yasuke. It's not at the very top, but it's somewhere up there in terms of shows that I look forward to. It didn't really live up to my expectation, but one thing that the show gave me was some good fights. Episode 4's battle between Yasuke and Kurosaka didn't disappoint in the slightest. I know coming in that one of the parts in the show that would be given a lot of focus on would be the sword fights, and that much can be seen in this epic duel. The action's fast-paced, and the art and animation just look so clean and smooth. I also liked how the battle made full use of the setting and allowed the fighters to make the most of the environment before concluding with a dramatic end. You know, what amazes me about One Piece is that despite running through multiple generations of anime fans, the animation and the fight still maintain that consistent quality. I don't need any further proof than the recent fight which put Luffy, Law and Kid against the Beast Pirates. Yeah, I call it a fight, but it's really just the three of them putting on a show while giving us fan service in the form of their cool abilities. Amongst the three of them, I've always been a fan of Law's powers, and seeing it being utilized the way it did here felt really great. The fight is overall just an extended flex by our key characters, but it's treated so much better than that. The fight's not much of an epic back and forth matter, but I think that it deserves a spot here merely due to the animation quality. Seriously, it's amazing how encounters between our OP characters and some fodder get so much love in terms of animation quality. What more when we get to the bigger fights later down the line? I'm pretty excited about that. It's a late comer to the party, but we have a crazy one here. Record of Ragnarok as an adaptation has had quite the mixed reception, to say the least. However, one thing that I can be sure of is that it provides one of the top fights that we've seen this season. That's Adam versus Zeus. I think that the best part of the fight, besides the fight itself, is the message. Adam represents humanity's strength and will, and despite being outmatched, puts up one hell of a fight. To further drive the message home, Zeus wins on a technicality. That's an amazing show of humanity's inner strength despite lacking the physical prowess that gods have, and I really like battles that push forward that message. On another note, Record of Ragnarok has that fate thing of using some historical and mythical characters in highly creative interpretations. You can binge it in one day, so I recommend you check Record of Ragnarok out if you enjoy some wacky and over-the-top fights. I I knew that Megalo Box had it in it to give us one of the most awesome fights of the season. Waiting 8 episodes is worth it as we get to see a crazy showdown between Mac and Liu. Of course, we can count one of the more underrated boxing anime to deliver. It's quite the intense fight we have here, with the fight starting out heavily in Liu's favor. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some people found the fight hard to watch due to how much of a beatdown Liu's giving out, all without restraint. Then, Mac time begins and the tide turns. For me, the most important part of the episode, however, was the revelations on what Mac time really is. It seems to be a feature rather than a bug, and it sure is setting up some possible consequences in the future. Plus, the entire thing reeked of some corporate BS, which I think should be a key focus on the story moving forward. I love these friendly sparring arcs. We just had one in Jujutsu Kaisen, which became my favourite arc in the whole thing, and My Hero Academia is not about to lose out too. The joint training arc is quite long with a bevy of fights, but my favourite segment would have to be the one with Team Ida taking on Tetsutetsu's team. This whole sequence is just a good show of each hero's abilities and how they use them against each other. There are stakes for sure, but it's not exactly the life and death battle that villain fights are. But you wouldn't be able to tell given the passion and effort on full display. Todoroki and Tetsutetsu in particular have a great duel, but let's not forget Ida showing off some of the cool new tricks up his sleeve. The joint training battle is just a fun ride all throughout, and while I picked this set to be the best one of them, the other fights are also awesome in their own ways. Now here's something that I'm sure a lot of you didn't expect to see. Perhaps it's the genre, but the Dragon Quest anime, as far as I can see, has been quite the overlooked show. Now, while I wouldn't say the show's anime of the season material or anything like that, it did provide some hidden gems in terms of fights such as this one. The fight at first seems to be your standard shonen fare. Not that it's a bad thing, in fact, it's very satisfying, and a fight like this seems to be something that everyone's come to expect from a series of the genre. However, what takes this fight to the next level can be seen when you take a closer look at the animation. The way the battle happened and the animation techniques employed really reminded me of some of my favourite fights from Dragon Ball Super, but with the wonders of modern technology. It seemed like a callback to the stuff like the Broly fight in Super or something from Black Clover. I'm not sure if the Dragon Quest anime would be your cup of tea, but if you like fights in the setting of the anime, do yourself a favour and pick the show up. And Castlevania continues to impress. I briefly talked about this on a previous video that despite Castlevania not being a Japanese anime, I feel that I want to highlight the show a bit more because it looks pretty anime anyway, and it consistently gives us fights as neat as this one. Carmilla vs Isaac for me is the highlight of the season of Castlevania. The best fight amongst the bunch, if you may. And a lot of that has to do with the fight choreography and how much the combatant's character shone in this duel. A good fight is also a way to showcase character development, a way to present an extension of what the characters have been through in a sense. It's been a long run now, but this fight really caps off the great journey Isaac has gone through as a character. You can also see how he compensates for the lack of power in comparison to his opponent, and the same goes for Carmilla and her pride being her downfall. Entering this season, I had high hopes for Vivi. I just had the feeling that I'd like it, being the action sci-fi nut that I am. However, I didn't expect to get blown out by the spectacular fight choreography that the show has. The quality is so insane, so much so that I added a fight as a last-minute entry to the female fights video when I saw it. With the bar set that high so early, what else would be there for me as far as Vivi's concerned? Well, an even better fight, of course. Episode 9's fight is just insane. That's all I have to say about it. I haven't watched everything this season, but I might as well bet that not a lot of stuff this season can top the fight choreography in this one. This fight had me on the edge of my seat, consumed by pure adrenaline thanks to the camera angles, the pacing, and just how sleek everything looks. Seriously, watch Vivi. I know I can't call it an underappreciated show or anything because it does have some hype and traction, but I think that it does deserve better. The show has an intriguing plot that fuses elements from a lot of fan-favorite anime with games such as Detroit Become Human, topped off with by far the best fight choreography the season has seen. It's a close call, this one. It really was. In the end, I decided to give the top spot to this one because it was one of the few fights that really blew up on the internet, at least from what I saw anyway. Plus, it's not too shabby of a fight, to be fair. Actually, no, I take that back. This one is an amazingly animated fight that reminds me of the previous team-up versus Momoshiki. Pretty much what you want from a Naruto universe fight is in full display here. You got the usual abilities of our characters along with a mix of Daijutsu. It's a very tense battle, and compared to the Momoshiki fight, the dads seem to be so screwed this time round. Jigen is just so powerful that he can take on both Naruto and Sasuke without even breaking a sweat, and even the trusty powers that we've known the legacy characters for, such as the Susanoo, seem to be no match at some points. Overall, a very great fight that will serve as a landmark turning point in Boruto for years to come. Now those were some great looking fights, weren't they? But you know what's not amazing? Region locks. Well, luckily ExpressVPN is here to help you vanquish those pesky region locks with the click of a button. I mean, really, it's that simple. Just open the interface, click your server of choice, and voila, say bye-bye to those region locks forever. The other cool part about ExpressVPN is how well it protects your data. With data breaches happening these days and even big-time personalities falling victim to them, you can't go unprepared. ExpressVPN, however, is your #1 buddy when it comes to protecting your data and helping you maintain your anonymity on the internet. Surfing's never been safer before. If you're looking for a VPN to use, then look no further. ExpressVPN blows everything else out of the water with its ease of use, speed, and pure value for what you're paying. If you want to know how to get started with ExpressVPN and get 3 months for free, just follow the link that I've left you on the description box or go to expressvpn.com/ViniiTube. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. That'll do for this edition of the ViniiTube Countdown Lists. I wish you a great day ahead, and I'll see you next time.